without much further ado, I would like to introduce the next speaker, Mr. Rafeek Ravither, who is the founder and executive, just a second, sorry about that. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, that's better. I'd just like to introduce Mr. Rafeek Ravither, who is the founder and executive director of CIMS. Mr. Rafeek is investigating the cases of missing migrants as a media person, working as a rights activist for the past 20 years. Through his investigative television show, he's rescued and rehabilitated around 5,000 missing migrants in the last 20 years. His deep understanding about irregular migration channels, in-depth knowledge about the rules and regulations in the major countries of destination, as well as the constant support that his organization offers through volunteers, including advocates and rights activists at both the country of destination and home country, have been crucial to the activities of the organization. He represents his organization since 2007 in many different forums. And he is just here to share with us also from that perspective. I think it's always very interesting to hear from people that work directly with migrants themselves. I will just check to see.
Hello.
Mr. Ravither, are you with us?
Yeah.
Okay, you can just go straight into your presentation. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Patty. Thank you. And thank you, GRFDT.
Hello, have we missed?
Please unmute. There is some, now it is okay, I think.
Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for showing up because my children are online classrooms, so we have network issues, so that's why. So I think hope you all are hearing me. Thanks for inviting me to share my experiences. And this was new to everyone, for us also, for the 2 decades of working in the field of migration and migrant rights issues. This was very new for us, for the civil society and the media. Media in the sense more than a media, it was, my program is actually supporting people to come across their issues and making a way to approach help mechanisms all around the world. That's the usual practice we are practicing for the last 2 decades. And this was, I said that this was new for everyone. So we know that the pandemic actually was new to all countries, both sending and destination countries, and they were actually they were fighting with 2 things. One side they were fighting with COVID, spreading COVID issues, and the other side it was the existing lack of policies to prevent kind of things. So let me share some experience of civil society perspective more than government side, because I think I am the only one among these panelists to talk about more about how this situation was not overcome fully, but how we came through this situation. As you all know that after starting it from China, then to Italy, the first Asian country was Philippines to announce strict lockdown measures and for full containment immediately. After that, the next country was from Asia, was Malaysia, enforced the lockdown through movement confinement order. So it was actually it was just stopping spreading this pandemic to the others, because large number of migrant workers are there, and they were making sure that it will not make big issues for the country itself, for the locals also. And these 2 policy decisions actually widespread impact in South Asian countries such as India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, and also a nationwide lockdown for just after this Malaysia, Italy, and China and Philippines. Simultaneously, Gulf countries also followed up this lockdown because of they were hosting around more than 70% of their workforce from all around the world, and yeah, the countries in Asia region had two kind of strategies from second week of March. The first strategy was to mitigate the virus through lockdown and provide testing and quarantine facilities for the people. Secondly, they took a strategy to develop policies to deal with the health and economic impact of the crisis. The repatriation of migrant workers from workplace were completely ignored actually. The embassies, home, and host country governments delayed their response. That was the major challenge we faced during this litigation, this pandemic situation, because lots of panic news were spreading everywhere. You know that even from my place is Kerala, a small state in southern part of India, and we were having around 3.5 million alone in Gulf, and there were several news spreading out everywhere that this is going to this is going to affect workers who were settled in big labor camps around. So it was a big panic situation, and that time it was very a big challenge for us to overcome that situation, to clear out, console the people, console the workers about that we have to face this challenge and you have to stay back where you are staying. So it was actually well received by the workers. So the major, my partners, they are centrally located in all GCC countries. They were spreading this news through WhatsApp groups and other social media to reach out people, because lockdown was declared and the workers were in a panic situation. And the government's side, from government side also, and the missions also started to reach out people through this organization. That was a good episode of this situation when it started. And technology was actually helped a lot in Asia. Mainly, you know that the Korean experience of starting Corona 100 application, and it was a good initiative from Korea, and it was the kind of but in our region it was more social network, social media through Facebook, WhatsApp, and the other social network platforms, civil society organization, and as well as government and the missions also. I know that most of the Indian missions in GCC countries done webinars and video conferences for reach out diaspora actors and the migrant workers to tell about how to overcome this situation. I know that even Philippine Foreign Affairs, they did a FB live program with interaction with migrant workers to get their issues and a redressal mechanism they worked through FB. Mm, uh, After this situation of the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you know that everyone was not able to move around, and the complete lockdown was imposed everywhere. And the next situation was to cover for providing when the airports were closed down, some people and the patients were asking for demanding to come back. And a very good example from government of India did is to start a mission called One Day Bharat mission, maybe a big exercise after Iraqi Kuwait invasion. They declared a repatriation process through flight, ships, and other methods of transportation. Even 3 warships were allocated for a repatriation, bringing workers from Maldives and to other countries. 3 ships were allocated for warships were allocated for bringing workers from Maldives. And through One Day Bharat mission, around till today, almost 100,000 workers returned to India, but it was Kuwait repatriation. This was a paid repatriation. That time it was free for everyone. And government of India's another good practice was actually I identified that for the first time they asked their workers to register with a site called Swadis. This site is actually for registering themselves to about their job, their skill, and other things to a portal. And later, government announced that they will utilize this data to for their repatriation and reintegration. Not repatriation, reintegration works, and maybe for the future jobs, both in the destination countries and India. So this was a good 2 steps initiated by Government of India. Similar steps were we saw from several Asian countries. Bangladesh also already started. Philippines have a mechanism already before COVID, because if any worker is going back or any worker is returning to home, they will take care of their wage and other issues. And Nepal also having a system to look into the wage and other issues of workers. But the major drawback we came across this situation is the workers who are leaving, who are coming after COVID pandemic were never given a chance to raise their issues. You all know that the COVID situation created a big issue of job cuts, wage cuts, and service benefits cuts, and lots of vulnerabilities to the undocumented and even documented workers. So the most affected workers, the blue collar workers, where several lost their job during the COVID. And these people, when their final thought was to reach back home only, they were never raised any issue of their wage cut or their other issues. But at least these governments, even the destination or their original countries, could have done something to look into their issues. But none of the countries were done a similar attempt to record their grievances. So finally, I just want to share, I just want to put a point here that the policies, the lack of policies for addressing certain issues were evident in all areas of COVID. Maybe we can say that it is new to them and new to origin countries also. But this issue of wage theft, or we were calling it non-payment or other wage issues so far, but the new term wage theft was actually happened during this COVID situation was never addressed anywhere. And my partner, my home network, Migrant Forum Asia, and other partners are raising this campaign, a transitional justice mechanism to address the workers' issue, for remedies for the workers' issue, is actually started recently, and campaign is going on. We were working on it, and we are seeing that this is the major challenge we came across this COVID pandemic. That's all for now. Maybe I can share a little more later.
Thank you, Mr. Rafeek, for that reflection, and also for just giving us a bit of an insight to the practical work that the Center for Indian Migrant Studies is doing in terms of safeguarding the rights of migrant workers. I think it was also very interesting to hear in the very last part there where you shared the work that you have done together with others in the campaign towards transnational justice for migrant workers, and also to listen to some of the practical the practices that are happening in other places. I think that there may be some questions coming your way.